Today is July 4th. Happy 4th of July, 2016. At the moment, I'm almost ready to give up on these Greek names, but it looks like Pyrgos. To rewind most of the day, I started off and I went to, and again, more research done on how to say this name, found out that there's still like 5 different ways. But I ended up going to the ruins of, it's in a town called, just outside of a town called Mykinis. And then the ruins are, oh man, Mycenae is the name of the place that I was trying to say yesterday. But again, I think, from what I've heard, there's like a lot of different ways that you can say it. So that was it took me maybe an hour to get there by bus. And then I walked around for about a couple hours, checked out the museum. I realized I didn't take any selfies. No selfies at all of this place. Apparently it was like one of the best examples of ancient Greek civilization ruins. But it was from, it's like 1500 BC, I think. So it was a long, long time ago. But really, I mean, there's not that much left. Again, it's like most of the other stuff that I've come across. I guess, like, it all has such a cool story to it. But really, it's just rubble. You just walk around rubble and you go, oh, okay. And then there's just a lot of imagination required, I guess. And by imagination, I mean reading of plaques and little info boards and things that I should spend more time reading. But I just never do. I go, wow, that's some cool pottery. And then I move on. So the bus had to drop me back in Nafplio. And then so I had like 2.5 hours to wait in Nafplio before the bus to Tripoli left. And so I remembered this beach that I had seen yesterday when I arrived in Nafplio. And so with 2.5 hours and a ridiculously hot day, I thought, I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to swim in the Mediterranean. I don't believe I've ever swum in the Mediterranean until just today, and it's worth it. Everybody should go for a swim in the Mediterranean. It was beautiful. There were quite a few people there, because it's only just a little tiny small beach, but I did take a picture of that to be posted. Yeah, beautiful swim. And then so I came back and went to it's supposed to be a bus station, but it's more like, say, 20 meters of curb space on the side of the road is what this little bus station is in Nafplio. And I had bought my ticket to Tripoli, and then I was early, like I had plenty of time, and so I stood out there, and he was like, it leaves just outside here. So I stood just outside there, and I didn't see any buses, but I do recognize that everything is in Greek, and like I know what a bus looks like, so it's not like I could have gone too far wrong, but somehow this bus that had Tripoli written on the front in this 20 meters of curb space, I totally missed it. And then, like, I saw the bus that goes to Pyrgos, and I even asked the driver, I said, does this go to Tripoli? No, not this bus. So anyway, so I went back in the station. This was like 3 or 4 minutes after the bus should have left. And then the guy who had, the station master or whatever, the guy who had sold me the ticket, really lovely, nice guy. He's like, what? And he said, well, you've missed it now, and there's only 2 buses. So I'd missed the last bus of the day. And rather than freak out, I just said, okay, what can I do? And he says, well, you can get in a taxi and then go to Pyrgos. So taxi to Pyrgos and catch up with the bus there. So without even thinking further, I was like, right, I'm in a taxi, Argos please, as fast as you can go. So off to Argos I went in this taxi to catch up with the bus that would take me to Tripoli, and then the taxi driver was awesome. Like, the number of cars we passed on, like, single lane each way, double line dividers, like, we were just passing cars all over the place, and I felt so proud of him, because he was so good, like, so dangerous, but so good. And we got to Argos just in time, so there was the bus with Tripoli written on the front, and the station master, I'm guessing, had radioed to the people in Argos to say, hang on, there's a guy arriving in a taxi. And so, in all fairness, it was a pretty quick taxi ride. I mean, it all seemed like it was a blur, but it seemed like a blur as well, because it was such a short amount of time. And yeah, so I got on the bus in Argos, bound for Tripoli, and then yeah, that was wonderfully uneventful, I believe. And then in Tripoli, I had to transfer to another bus to get to what I thought was Olympia, because in my head I was going to get to Olympia by nightfall, well, by afternoon, but whatever. And so in Tripoli, I transferred to a bus, and it was bound for here. It's bound for here. This is where I am. I'm not in Olympia. I am in Pyrgos. And then, so, I've seen a lot of Greece. I've seen a lot of Greece today, because I've spent probably, must have been like 8 hours on a bus. And there's been lots of breaks, like the ruins and the swimming in the Mediterranean, and here in Pyrgos, watching the sunset, all that kind of lovely stuff. And I am just waiting. So it's a beautiful city as well. It's the capital of this part of Greece, and it's just perfect timing, because coming into the city, I was watching the sunset over the Ionian Sea, which also incredibly stunning. The sunset's just finishing up now. And so here I wait for the next bus, the last bus of the day, to Olympia, and that leaves at 9:45. I'm still about at least a half an hour away from Olympia. But I'm happy because I got a ticket, thank goodness, on the last bus to Olympia. So all going well, I should be waking up tomorrow morning in Olympia, outside, what is it, the Temple of Zeus? So in Athens, I went to the first place of the modern Olympic Games, and then tonight I'm going to the birthplace of the ancient Olympic Games, so like the very, very first ones held in Olympia. That's where I'm going to be, and I'm hoping that's where I'm going to wake up. Otherwise, Pyrgos not a bad second option if I somehow don't get on the right bus. But with all that said, like, the Greek bus system, I'm learning so much about, because they're really, like, unless you're on the super main routes, it's usually only, say, 2 or 3 buses a day to where you might want to go. And they rarely have, like, when they pull into the station and you go, right, where's my bus to, say, Tripoli or Pyrgos, it's not usually written. Like, they don't turn on the sign to say where they're going until after they've left the station. And I realize this now. And even if by chance they do have the name of the destination written on the front of the bus before they leave the station, it's like the further away I get from Athens, I don't know what that noise is. The further I get away from Athens, the fewer things have, I'm going to call them Roman letters. Like, so it's all using the Greek alphabet. So the tickets, Greek alphabet. Things on buses, Greek alphabet. And that just adds just one more small complexity. Like, I think with a year in China, I've kind of gotten the hang of of Chinese, but being the first week in Greece, some things still look incredibly familiar. Oh, it's the crickets. They're coming alive. Right. Okay. So that was pretty much today. Like, it's been a lot of traveling, but it's been really, really lovely traveling. Like going along the coast to the coast of the Ionian Sea and into all these little sleepy coastal villages. And the bus stops everywhere, and it's beautiful. Like, each one of these villages, I have yet to see a village in Greece where I go, "Ooh, yeah, you wouldn't want to live there." They're all just beautiful, and they're slightly run down, but everybody's happy, and it's still, like, the people still seem quite healthy and excited and just genuinely satisfied, I guess, in life. And plus, every little village has a bakery. Like, how can you go wrong with that? So as I was coming into the city here, I couldn't help but reflect. I know I'm getting close to 15 minutes, so I'm going to cut it off soon. But I couldn't help but reflect on, it's like just over a week since I left my home in Chongqing. And in just over a week, I have left home. I have gone to the Grand Bazaar in a place that borders Mongolia and Kazakhstan. I've been eating dinner surrounded by camels in the Arabian desert. I've been up top the highest building on the planet, watching a sunset. I've wandered around the ancient ruins of Athens, and I've climbed up mountain fortresses and walked through old Phoenician cities. In just over a week. I'm still trying to get my head around that, and I hope I do soon, because I think there's a lot more to come. At least I hope there's a lot more to come. I'm not too sure, I'm still thinking about time and what I have time for over the next few days, and tomorrow may be another big day of travel. I'm not really too sure. I'm thinking about Delphi tomorrow, after I finish up in Olympia, but it all really depends on the buses and what there is in Olympia. I mean, if I've seen everything in Olympia in a few hours and I'm ready to go, then off I shall go. And which reminds me, I actually need to book somewhere for tonight in Olympia. Okay, yeah, beautiful sunset, and this will probably be the one and only post for today, for videos. But so here's to hoping I can get on that last bus and I end up in Olympia tonight and I have a place to stay. Alright, good night.